What's up, good people? Happy Wednesday. I wanted to come on here because I've been seeing a lot on social media about marriages and all this other kind of great stuff. And of course, if y'all follow me, you saw the other day where I talked about we got to stop saying happy wife, happy life, or whatever, because both individuals that's in a marriage need to be happy, and everybody happiness should be equal. Like, no one person should trump the other person, right? So I just been seeing stuff on social media about marriages, and I feel like that some of the stuff that I've been seeing, or some of the stuff that we hear about marriages, are myths, right? And so because we all have this idea that, you get married, you buy the house, you have the kids, you got the house with the white picket fence, and that life is just going to be gravy afterwards. Like, it's just easy. Like, they paint this fairy tale of marriage, and nobody just comes out to really say that marriage is work. Like, that's all they paint the picture of. You got to love your husband, you need to love your spouse, you need to love your wife, and love is enough. Love covers everything, or whatever. That's what people like to say when it comes to marriage. But I really want to make sure that I say that love is not enough in a marriage at all. Love is really not enough, because one, you can fall out of love, and two, people still cheat and they love their wife and they love their spouse. So love really isn't enough, right? So I know some of y'all may be like, Danielle, what gives you the right, to talk about this type of stuff, and you're not married? Well, I'm going to tell you what gives me the right. My education, okay? My education gives me the right to talk about some of this stuff, and the people whom I've actually helped when it comes to marriage counseling, right? I just want to give you a realistic view of what some of the things that you are in store for when you cheat on your spouse. I really want you to have an understanding of what cheating does, right? So, and especially if you decide to stay with the spouse. As a marriage counselor, it is work when a couple comes to me and there's infidelity in the marriage, or there's just miscommunication, because people don't understand when you get married, you become one. Literally, you become one. And a lot of days and a lot of times, especially while I'm not married right now, is because of the simple fact is people want to get married for social media. People don't really want to do the work that when it comes to marriage and stuff like that. Like, people are not doing the work when it comes to healing their own selves. So they're going into marriage broken. So you're bringing two broken people into a marriage and expecting them to be whole, but they're still broken because they want the other person, because it's love, right? I want you to love me and all of that. But that's a whole nother subject right there. But I want to say this, that in the reason, and get back to the title of this, think before you cheat, right? Because when you cheat on your spouse, that right there is a tragedy. Okay? Like, I don't think you understand, like, the ramifications of you cheating and what is going to cause your marriage, especially if you decide to stay, what it's going to do to your spouse, what it's going to do to your kids, and all of that. So, like, you are only worrying about your own pleasure when you decide to cheat. That's it. You're worrying about self. I want to get my needs met, and you're not worrying about anybody else that you have brought into this world or you have made a connection to. So when you decide to cheat on your spouse, this is some of the things that you can expect, especially if you decide to stay, okay? If you decide to stay with your spouse after you have cheated, please expect your spouse to have low self-esteem. It's going to happen. If they had high self-esteem before, because you done stepped out, that self-esteem is going to go down in the toilet because they feel like that they're not good enough. because you done stepped out, right? So expect them to have low self-esteem. And you can also expect them, if you decide to stay, here is where you come. Expect to do some work. A lot of times people be wanting their spouse to get over their infidelity in 6 months. Oh, she should be over that, or he should be over that by now. I'm not cheating. No, please expect to continue to have to prove yourself day in and day out that you're not cheating, that you're not doing anything wrong. Be prepared to really and truly continue to prove yourself. And if you are not willing to do that, just leave. Like, don't break that other person down to where they feel like that they're not good enough. They're dealing with low self-esteem, and they are just all of these other problems that are coming their way, while you yourself is just like, it's almost like when you cheat, you're up here, and the person that did not cheat is like down here. You got your needs met. You got everything that you wanted to do. And so that person down here is left with wondering why. And so it's so much work when it comes to reassuring or fixing a marriage when infidelity is involved. So please think about it before you actually do it. And especially if you want to stay married, like the work that goes into it. I have so many people that when they come to me, they be like, okay, I need to fix this. And I'll be like, so you ready to do the work? And they was like, yeah, I'm ready to do the work. I'm like, no, are you really ready to do the work? Are you really ready to look inside your own self and really to do the work for yourself and then help your spouse? Right? Because it's work. You have to do the work for yourself, and then you have to do the work for your spouse. So it also means that when you are trying to help your spouse heal, that means you have to sit in that thing with your spouse. If your spouse is crying in the middle of the night, that means you have to get up, be with them while they cry in the middle of the night, hold them, tell them that they're going to be okay, tell them that you're sorry. That means apologizing so many times, several different times. Like, it is work. It is you humbling yourself very much so your spouse can understand that you love them, that you're sorry. A lot of people be like, oh, I'm sorry, but you're not humble. You're still arrogant. If you're really sorry that you hurt that person, you're going to be humble. You're going to want to reassure them whatever it is that they need from you. You're going to be willing to do it. But a lot of people, you're not sorry. You're only sorry that you got caught. So really and truly think before you cheat, because like I said, it does a thing on the other person. And especially if you're married with children. When a spouse is not at their best, it's going to affect the children too as well. When mama not at her best, when daddy not at their best, it's going to affect the children. So this one incident of you cheating has ramification on everybody in your household. It's going to affect everybody in your household. And I just want to know, is it worth it? And if it is worth it, it may be something that you might need to look at in being single. That's okay too. I tell my married couples all the time, it's 50-50. 50% that you're going to stay together and 50% that you might not stay, And if you don't stay together, it's my job to help you be able to come out of this as best as you can, especially if you have children with some type of co-parenting relationship or whatever. But it is, when I tell you, it is work when you are committing an affair. It is work to fix it, especially if you decide to stay. So be prepared to put the work in that you need to do when you cheat. So just think about it. I just want to say, just think before you actually cheat. Because if you really and truly want to repair your relationship, it's going to be work. It's going to be hell, tell you the truth. I'm not even going to lie. It's going to be hell. Like, period. Sometimes I be walking about them therapy sessions like, shit, I need a drink, okay? I don't know about y'all, but I need a drink as the therapist. Like, yo, it's like, it's work, but it also can be beauty too. Because I've seen people overcome that. I've seen people overcome infidelity in their marriage, but it was a lot of each other doing their own work. It was a lot of people being humble. It was a lot of people admitting their faults. It was a lot of people like really and truly looking at themselves and saying that I want to be a better person, not for my spouse, but for me in general. I just want to be a better person. I want to heal my own self. So really and truly think about this before you cheat. And if you do want to cheat, or if there's something missing in your relationship with your spouse, please talk about it or go to marriage counseling in the beginning. First of all, let's normalize going to marriage counseling, okay? Let's normalize us having a therapist that we can go talk to, that we can actually check on our relationship, check in our relationship, because a lot of times it's a lack of communication and how to effectively communicate with your spouse. Like, that's what a lot of marriage problems come from, is a lack of communication. If I can give it a number, it's about 80% is a lack of communication. Effective communication, not just talking. Because one thing I teach my people in the beginning, we have to listen to understand and not listen to respond. A lot of people listen to respond, so you only hear half of what that person is saying, okay? So like that person could say 5 sentences. You're going to listen to 3 of them, and then you're going to gather your response. You're not going to listen to understand. You're not really trying to understand what that person is saying, what that person is coming from, and stuff like that. So like, we have to work on that. I really have to tell people it's okay. Stop talking. Let that person talk. Especially when you got somebody who is a talker and they over talk the other person. So I'm like, wait, he was talking. Wait, she was talking. Did you understand? Wait, both of y'all stop. Did you understand what she was saying? Okay, he didn't understand what you were saying, or she didn't understand what you were saying. Say it again. Like, it's that type of, if you want to call it elementary stuff, it is that, because again, we listen to respond. We don't listen to understand, because we want to always be right. Okay? You can't always be right in a marriage. And even if you are right, is that the best thing for the family or for your marriage? Because you're right? Because you want to gloat and say, I told you so? No. You want what's best for your marriage and for your entire family. So really and truly think about this before you cheat. Really and truly, y'all, get y'all a marriage counselor, a therapist. If you want to make your marriage stronger, or if you just want to have this strong foundation, like really and truly get you a therapist so that they can help you effectively communicate. I know I had one couple, they had a notebook, and that's how they communicated, because talking we wasn't there, okay? We couldn't talk. We had to get a notebook, and they had to write down their communication. And then it came a point in time where they was like, I'm tired of this notebook. Can we talk? And now they actually listen to understand. But in the beginning, I was like, baby, write that down. Write that down. Because one person couldn't communicate because one person was over talking. So when you start writing things down, now you understand. And so then it came to a point where they were just like, this notebook is just too much. Can we sit down and can we talk? And that was that. So now they're better. They end up leaving, and they come back here and there once or twice a year just to get a checkup, just to let me know how they're doing and all of that other great stuff. So we do a check-in. I tell them some new skills, or they tell me how they done worked through some issues and all this other kind of stuff. And so it's just like, it's a good idea to have a relationship already established with a therapist. So when they came in, that was their time we was establishing a relationship. And then as they got better, they didn't have to come weekly or bi-weekly. They just come once or twice a year or when they need me. So getting a marriage counselor is something that I highly recommend to everybody. I highly recommend doing premarital counseling too before you get married. A lot of y'all probably wouldn't be going through the stuff that y'all going through right now if y'all had premarital counseling. If you started on a strong foundation, get you premarital counseling at least 6 months to a year before you get married. Let's stop going to the pastor and doing 6 weeks. No, let's have 6 months to a year so that we can have a strong foundation for our marriage, for how we're going to parent these children, how we're going to effectively communicate for ourselves. What is my spouse love language? First of all, do you even know your spouse love language? Can we talk about that? Okay? Like, understanding that person's love language is super duper important, because that's how they view love. And a lot of times we do not view love the same. I may view that you love me because you buy me, I like flowers, right? So I like flowers. So my husband can buy me flowers and I know that he loved me. But if he's thinking like, I'm going to buy Danielle these shoes because he likes shoes, and so I'm just like, why you keep on giving me these shoes? I hate shoes. I like flip-flops. But because in his mind, well, I'm going to buy her shoes because that's what I love. And so he feel like, I'm showing you love, but you're being disrespectful. And then that right there becomes a problem, because in his mind, I'm being disrespectful because I'm not wearing the shoes. And all he could have did was went to Kroger's and buy me some $11 flowers. And I would think my husband loves me to the end of earth. And he's spending $200 on some shoes that I don't even like. So like, that's a really big thing, because people don't know each other's love language. And when you don't know your spouse's love language, that's a problem. In the beginning, we're all excited because, this is a new thing. This is a new relationship. Like, I'm excited. That's boo. But what happens when the excitement wears off? What happens when it's every day we're together? What happens when we start having children? Now we're focusing on these children. We start losing each other in the children. All of these are real life problems that I want y'all to think about. Like, these in marriage, before you get married, like, these are problems. If you start asking some of your married friend what some of their problems is, they're going to tell you. You're going to lose yourself in these kids. That's a big mom's child. Every mama that I got, I'd be like, so tell me what, what you like to do for fun. They rattling off something about these kids. I'm like, okay, them your kids, but what do you like to do for fun? Well, and they say something about the kids, and then in my mind, I'd be like, man, F them kids. What about you? Like, you have to have something for yourself. You have to have something for yourself as a wife. You have to have something for yourself as a spouse. As a husband. Y'all have to come together as a unit. Like, it's units in families. You're a unit by yourself. Your husband is a unit. Then your kids is a unit. And then your marriage is a unit too. So, but a lot of times, nobody tells us this. Nobody tells us to focus upon ourselves. Nobody tells us, Mom, it's okay that you go out with your friends. You go spend the weekends with your friends so that you can come back, so that you can be rejuvenated. Because moms needs that. Dad, it's okay for you to go out with your friends and have a weekend with your friends and come back rejuvenated, because you need that. It's okay for y'all to take a family vacation, spend time with each other as a family, because that's what you need as a family. But everybody needs their own individual time and time away from the family unit. It does not mean that you don't love these children because you're taking a break from them. If anything, you're trying to come back and be a better parent for these kids and for your husband. You know, go out there, have a few drinks with your girl, have a semi-high girl summer, and go back home to your husband. Everybody wins, even husband. Okay? So that's all I want to say. I know I done got off on a whole tangent and stuff like that, but I just wanted to make sure that some of this stuff is discussed when it comes to marriages and things of that nature, because this right here is a lot of stuff that we do not talk about, and that if we are not careful, it's going to ruin our marriages. We're gonna bring up these kids, we're gonna raise these kids that's going to have childhood trauma. Why? Because mama and daddy was arguing. I seen my mama do this. I seen my daddy do this. I seen my mom and my daddy fighting physically. Sometimes we physically fight too, and you're going to raise these kids in this type of environment, and they're going to think that that's okay. Just like you saw in your parents' relationship, somebody got to break these generational curses, and it might as well be you. That's what I tell a lot of my millennial clients that come to me. I feel like millennial children, we are curse breakers. We ain't asked for it, but it's up on us, okay? So you don't have a choice but to break these curses so that your children do not see the same thing or experience the same thing that you did. So why not get a marriage counselor? Your parents didn't have that. You want to try something different because you want to have a better relationship. My mama has always told me and my brother, do better than me. Be better than me. And believe it or not, we have excelled some of the things that she wasn't able to do. She wasn't able to go to college. I went to college. Not only did I go to undergrad, I went to grad school. And my mom was there to support me. So that's what we got to do. We got to be different, y'all. We got to think different. And we got to put in the work, too. So that's all I want to say. I don't see any comments. So if y'all are commenting and y'all realize that I'm not saying anything back to you, because I don't see any comments. I don't know what's wrong. But nonetheless, that's all I wanted to say to you guys, is think before you cheat. And if you are not ready for marriage, that's okay. Let me talk about that. Don't let people shame you because you're not married. Like, so many people, when you get married, why you want me to marry anybody out here? I'm not ready. I have to work on myself. Like, so when people say, oh, so why you not get married? So I usually come back with, so you want me to just marry anybody? Or you want me to, or why you not, why you not doing this? So you just want me to be a hoe in these streets? So that's usually my response sometimes, like, especially my family. I mean, like, so I give them that or whatever. So when it says that, oh, so why you not married, Danielle? Because I ain't ready. Point blank, period. Like, I'm not ready to be somebody's wife. Why? Because I got a smart mouth. I'm still going to buck the system. When I just told y'all about making sure you compromise, girl, I just started working on compromising. Okay, just recently with my therapist, I got to work on compromising some of this stuff, because in my mind, I'm right. Can't nobody tell me different. So how am I going to be a wife to a husband if I always got to be right? That's a recipe for disaster. I'm not finna go spend all this money getting married, and I know that that's my mindset. That can't nobody tell me different. I gotta work on it, and I'm doing it. So why are you not ready to get married? Because your girl, child, she got to work on some of this stuff. I got to be able to work on hearing the compromise. What you got to say, babe? I got to ask that before I make a move. Just must make a move on my own. And then come back and say, oh, I did this. Oh, I did this today. And he going to be like, but you didn't ask me. Or you didn't talk to me about this. Not ask, but you didn't talk to me about this, Danielle. Yeah, I know. But I did it anyway. And so I'm right. You just need to get on board. That's not how you have communication in a marriage. But A lot of y'all operate like that. So, and a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about because you're experiencing problems with that right now. So, but nonetheless, y'all, that's all I got for y'all wonderful people on today. Think before you cheat. Get you a marriage counselor. Get you a therapist yourself, okay? And work through some of this stuff. And it's okay that you're not ready to get married. It's okay if you want to take some time to yourself. It's totally okay. Don't allow nobody else to make you feel any different or whatever. If you know that you're not ready to get married, don't get married. Even if you're engaged right now. Even if you're married, if your wedding is next month, do not get married and you know that you're not ready. You're wasting money and you're wasting time. So if you need a sign, if you be like, Lord, give me a sign, here go your sign right now. Don't get married, sis. Don't get married, bro, because you're not ready. Take that time to get ready. All right, y'all. That's all I got for y'all. Love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later because I got a 5 o'clock appointment. Bye.